Okay, algebra term 3 week 8 non-calculator exam, grid questions, course revision required, very important because I'm sure they'll bring one of these in the written, as well as 3 extra questions in the course revision that wasn't in the grids, but I still think might come written. Our teacher did tell us to solve them. Okay, grid question 30, when it's expressed in the form basically they're telling you to expand. Okay, so let's expand. Minus 3 times 5 is minus 15, minus 3 times minus 9i is plus 27i. Okay, I think this was in the quiz. 2i times 5 is 10i, and then 2i times minus 9i is minus 18i squared. Okay, 27 and 10 is 37i. Minus 18i squared, I squared, is negative 1. Okay, so minus 18 times negative 1 is plus 18. Okay, so we're done from that, and we have minus 15. Cancel these, becomes 3 plus 37i. So 3 plus ki, so obviously k will be 37. Okay, 30, I think. Over here, question 30, 37. Okay, what's after that? Page 35. Question, any question? Uh, question 39. Okay, how is this page 35 in space? Okay, anyway, question 39. You know what, before we go there, I'm gonna do these three. Okay, I think one of these will come written, Saraha. So these, or yeah, yeah. Well, this is the 36 is the same as 33, 34, 35. So I'll do 36, 37, 38 because you haven't really had anything like this in the quiz. And the regional Saraha, I think she'll bring one of them. Express using it. Okay, this is it's not required. Okay, this we had in the quiz. Okay, let's start 36. Okay, study the sign of. Okay, study the sign of 16x squared minus 8x plus O. Okay, study the sign of 16x squared minus 8x plus 1. Basically, study the sign, يعني know when it's positive, when it's positive, when it's negative. Okay, and how do we do that, guys? We draw our table, right? And how do we draw our table? First, we need to find the roots. 16 times 1 is 16, which numbers multiply to get 16, but add up to get 8, obviously 4 and 4, so 16x and 4, okay, and then 16x and 4. Obviously, it's a square, so no need. Okay, plus, so that means minus, minus. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4, you get 4x minus 1, 4x minus 1. So it's a repeated root. You could just say 4x minus 1 squared. Okay, and our root is 1 over 4, right? So if I draw our x f of x table, okay, it's gonna look like this at 1 over 4 since it's only one root. Okay, and then a, since we don't have two roots, it's gonna be 1 over 4 is gonna be 0, right? So the sign before and after will be the same as the sign of a, and a in this case is greater than 0. Okay, so that means it's gonna be positive, positive. Okay, you can do this. Okay, so do I write this in the exam? خلاص خلصنا? Obviously not. Yeah, فانت in the exam, in the written part, if you just write this, you're gonna get it wrong. They said study the sign. So you can say, we want to know when it's positive, when it's negative. So when you say it's positive, you say 16x squared minus 8x plus 1 is positive for, okay, for all real numbers except 1 over 4. صح? Because it's always positive except at 1 over 4. Okay, then when is it negative? 16x squared minus 8x plus 1 is less than 0 for no real values. Okay, no real numbers. Okay, like this, get a mark, get a mark. So that would be 1 mark, 1 mark. They would obviously, I think there'll be also 1 mark for probably factoring. Okay, I don't think they'll give you a mark for the table. 1 mark for factoring, 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this. Oh, wait, hold up, hold up. I forgot one part. They also said deduce the solution of this. So this is obviously when you want to solve these, you have to take everything to one side. So it becomes 16x squared minus 8x plus 1 less than 0. And I don't know if you can see, but that's the same thing we have over here. So you can just say for no real numbers. Okay, next. Okay, question 37. Solve the system of inequalities. Okay, when you're solving a system, okay, it's very, very important. If you pay attention to the steps I give you, please show your work, guys, in your written. Please, and I want you guys to get full mark. Okay, let me show you. When you're solving a system, okay, you solve the first one, you solve the second one, and then you plot on a number line. Very important to plot on a number line. Okay, let's start with the first one. Okay, 2x minus 1, x minus 2 less than 0. Okay, so it's very easy. They actually gave you the factored form already, so you can directly find the roots. Our roots are 1 over 2. Okay, roots, the roots are 1 over 2 and 2, صح? So if I were to draw my x f of x table, okay, it's gonna look something like this. I have 1 over 2 over here, and I have 2 over here, 0, 0. Okay, in between the roots, it's gonna be, let's see, what is our sign of a? If it's in factored form, you have to multiply the x's. See what is your sign of x? 2x times x is 2x squared. So my a is 2, so it's greater than 0. So you say a is greater than 0. Please show all of this, all of this, all of this. The corrector wants to see you writing a greater than 0, 2x squared, a equals 2, which is greater than 0. Okay, all of this, make sure to show everything, okay? Don't write like how I'm writing, because this is rubbish. What I'm writing is rubbish, صراحة, okay? Show how you got the roots and 1 over 2, show how you got the roots is 2. Okay, then you write this table, okay? Then say, and write on the side between the roots, it's opposite to a, and since a is positive, it's going to be negative in between the roots, okay? Then after the roots is going to continue on as normal, okay? It's going to be positive, and then positive. Okay, positive. Okay, so when is it less than 0? They said when is it less than 0, right? It's less than 0 for, so what's my solution set? You're gonna write it like this: 2x minus 1, x minus 2, less than 0 for when x is in between 1 over 2 and 2, صح? For x between 1 over 2 and 2. Okay, now this one here, when is it less than 0? Okay, you're gonna want to try factoring this, okay? And I'm gonna tell you it's not factorable. Which numbers multiply to get 2, but when you add them you get 1, obviously nothing. And if you want to check, what did I tell you to do? Check if your discriminant is negative. B squared minus 4ac. If it's negative, it's not factorable. So b is 1, so 1 squared is just 1, minus 4 times ac, so times 2 times 1. Obviously you get negative 7, so it's less than 0, so it's not factorable. So there's no roots, okay? You have to show all of this. You have to show discriminant less than 0, so it's not factorable. All of this. The corrector wants to see all of this. Okay, so since it has no roots, let's draw our x f of x table for this one, just so I can help you visualize it. Okay, since I have no roots, it's going to continue on, and it's going to be the same sign as a. And the a is 2, a equals 2, which is greater than 0, so that means that the quadratic will always be positive. So will it ever be negative? No. So you're going to say 2x squared minus x plus 1 less than 0 for no real numbers. Okay, or if you write empty set, this is an empty set. Empty set is a circle with a slash going through it. Okay, if you write that, that's also good. Okay, but now we didn't solve the system. We did not solve the system. How do we solve the system? Here's what you do. Okay, the first step is to solve each one. Then after you get the solution set for each one, you're going to have to plot the solution set on the number line. Okay, we have this number line here. What's the solution set of the first one? X between 1 over 2 and 2. So you're going to write down 1 over 2. Okay, again, your corrector wants to see all of this. 2. Okay, and my solution set is all the numbers in between 1 over 2 and 2. So you're going to put a circle here, and you're going to connect them. So this is all the numbers between 1 over 2 and 2. Okay, we did this in grade 9. Okay, if it was greater than or equal, then you would shade the circle. But in this case, it's strictly greater than, so you keep it as a hollow circle, okay? Okay, that's the solution set of the first one. How about the solution set of the second one? It's no real numbers, right? So do I write anything on my number line? No. So after you get the solution set of both, you're going to see where do they intersect. Okay, where does no real numbers intersect with this? They don't intersect, right? No intersection. No intersection. Okay? No intersection. Yani, what does that mean? No solution. Okay, so what is the solution set? The solution set is phi, empty set. It's empty. Okay, let's say مثلا, because this will come, let's say مثلا they gave you for all real numbers. Let's say they put greater than 0 here. Okay, let's say they put greater than 0, and obviously if it was greater than 0, then it would be all real numbers, because this is always positive. Okay, that means the graph of that solution set would just be the whole thing, right? Where does this big line, which is the solution set of the second equation, intersect this small segment, which is the solution set of the first equation? Where do they intersect? It intersects over here, right? So what do I take? I take the intersection. And what is the intersection? X between 1 over 2 and 2. That's how you do it, okay? مثلا, what if they gave me actually, what if the solution set here was, what if the solution set was, let's say solution set was for x less than 2, greater than 1, in between 1 and 2. Let's say 1 is over here, This was the second solution set. Okay, I graphed it now. Where do these two segments intersect? They intersect over here, right? Between this dot here and this dot here. So what would my solution set? What would the solution set of the whole system be? It would be the intersection, which would be in between 1 and 2. Okay, just in case it comes. Anna, that's too much for 2 questions. 10 minutes is too much. Okay, because these questions are new, you guys haven't seen. That's how you solve a system. Always, please, for a system, graph it. Okay, graph your inequality, and it helps you solve way easier. Okay, just take the intersection, because the system means it has to satisfy both equations. So that's why you say intersection. Question 38. When you have a fraction, it's different. Okay, when you have a fraction, I want you to pay attention very carefully. The way you're gonna do it, okay, always remember, the sign of a fraction depends on the numerator and the denominator. Let's say I'm dividing a positive number by a negative number. What will my answer be? Obviously negative. How about a negative number by a positive number? Also negative, right? How about positive divided by positive? It would be positive. How about a negative divided by a negative? That would be negative. I mean positive again, right? So these are the basics of maths. The sign divided by sign. So can you apply this here? Yes, you can. Okay, so هنا بدهم الفراction to be greater than 0. So basically they want the answer to be positive. When is it positive? It's only positive when positive divided by positive and negative divided by negative. So don't you see that I have to study the sign of the numerator and the sign of the denominator, right? So how do I do that? This is what you do. Okay, you're going to construct one big table. We have x, then we have n of x, and we have d of x. Okay, n stands for numerator, d stands for denominator. Okay, so let's see. My x is going to represent the roots. What are the roots here? X minus 5. What are the roots? Obviously, x equals 0, because the x, when you have x by itself, that means x equals 0 is the root. And then x minus 5, x equals 5 is the other root. So I'm going to write down 0, I'm going to write down 5. Okay, at 0, the numerator equals 0. And at 5, the denominator equals 0. So, okay, then let's study the sign of the denominator. The root here is x equals 1. Okay, if you put 1 and put 0 on, okay, you're going to get it wrong. Why? Because what happens if the denominator equals 0? The whole equation becomes undefined, because you guys know you're not allowed to divide by 0. For what would you do? For 1, you're going to shade it like this. Okay? Okay, now you're going to study the signs. Let's look at the first one. The first one is actually quadratic, okay? But they just factored the x out. So x times x is x squared. So my a is positive, right? It's positive. It's positive x squared. So a is greater than 0. Okay? So that means in between my roots 0 and 5, it's going to be negative. صح? Let me write it black. It's going to be negative 1. Okay. Hello, what about after the roots? It's going to be the same as the quadratic. So it's going to be positive. Positive. Okay. How about the denominator? Okay. Before 1, is it going to be positive or negative? Here's how I like to do it. Since it's x minus 1 is actually a line. It's a line sloping upwards. Okay. And 1, this would be the graph. Okay. And it intersects the y equals 0 at x equals 1, right? So after x equals 1, since it's sloping upwards, after it's x equals 1, it's going to start becoming positive. And before x equals 1, it was always negative. Okay, you can think of it like that. Or you could just do trial and error. What's a number less than 1? Let's say 0. Plug in 0. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So obviously it's negative. And then what's a number bigger than 1 to the right of 1? 2. 2 minus 1 equals 1. That's positive. So that means it's going to be positive. You can do that as well. Whatever you want. Okay, positive, positive, whatever. Now we study the sign of the division. Okay, we got the numerator, we got the denominator. We study n over d. Okay, let's see here. Positive divided by negative. Negative, right? 0 divided by negative, that's 0. Okay? Negative here, this negative continues on for the whole thing. Negative divided by negative becomes positive. Okay, we skip this. We just continue shading it, I guess. Okay, negative divided by positive, that's negative. Okay, 0 divided by positive, that's 0. Okay, positive divided by positive, that's positive. So هنا شو بدهم? What are they asking me? They're asking for when it's greater than 0. So هنا بدهم when it's positive. When is my division positive? It's positive over here between 0 and 1, صح? So between 0 and 1. Okay, for x in between 0 and 1. And it's also positive after 5, right? To the right of 5. And, or you say or, you never say and, x greater than 5. This is going to be your solution set. This is how you solve these fraction questions. study the numerator, study the denominator, then take a look. Please be careful about the division, okay? Please be careful. Some people will skip this negative, go here directly. No, 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 this negative continues on from here until the root. Okay, so negative divided by negative becomes positive, okay? Please make sure you get all of them. Okay, that's one way to solve. I don't know, maybe your teacher taught you something else and I'm okay. Question 39. I'm gonna skip question 39 because it was in the quiz. فيعني no need. Okay. شو بدهم بعدها? Question 53, page 36. 53. Okay. I think 54 and 55 also included. Yeah. 53, 54, 55. Okay. I to the 12 minus I to the power 7. It was in the quiz, but let's give you a refresh. Okay. Always divide. Remember that I to the power of 1 is the square root of negative 1 or just I. Okay. I to the power of 1. I squared is negative 1. Okay. I to the power of 3 is negative I. Okay. I to the power of 4 is 1, I think. Negative I times I. Negative I squared. Yeah, it's 1. Okay. So what do you do? You divide by 4 and you check the remainder. 12 divided by 4 is 3, remainder 0. Since the remainder is 0, you take I to the power of 4. So I to the power of 12 is equal to 1. I to the power of 7. 7 divided by 4 is 1, remainder 3. So what do I take? I take I to the power of 3. Okay, which is minus I. Okay, so my answer is 1 minus, no, they said minus I to the power of 7. So minus, no, wait. It's 1 minus. Okay, I to the power of 7 is minus I. So minus I. So my answer is 1 plus I. Let me see if that's correct. 53. Yeah, 1 plus I. Okay. Question 54. Okay, these are easy, but they're grids يعني أكيد حيجوا. Okay, they're always gonna come. Whenever solving absolute value, this actually could come written يعني ما بعرف. You never know. Take everything to one side and leave the absolute value on one side. Okay, so it's gonna become negative absolute value of negative 5z greater than or equal than negative 10. Divide by negative on both sides, right? And you know when you divide by negative when you're working with inequalities, the sign flips, right? So it's gonna become absolute. So this is the second time my OBS crashes. I've repeated the recording twice now. I think I stopped at dividing by negative. So I had negative absolute value. Just for the record, I finished all of these questions, but I just realized my OBS crashed for greater than or equal negative 10. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Obviously, the sign flips since you're working with an inequality. So you get less the absolute value less than or equal to 10 because it becomes positive. المهم, when work with absolute value, you have two equations. You have it as it is, you just drop it. Okay, then one more, but you flip the sign. Okay, that's how absolute value works. Flip the sign of both the inequality and the constant term. Okay, you're gonna get z less than or equal to, and then 5, you divide by 5, z greater than or equal to negative 2. So if you want to write this negative 2 here, okay, connect them. It will be going to the right of negative 2 and going to the left of 2, and the intersection between them is between negative 2 and 2. So x between negative 2 and 2. And please pay attention, make it greater than or equal, not less, not strictly greater than. It has to have the or equal. Okay, 55. Sum has 25 dimes and n quarters. A dime is 0.1, a quarter is 0.25. So 25 dimes, so 25 times 0.1. Okay, and n quarters, so 0.25. And okay, he has more than 5.5. حطها greater than 5.5. Multiply these, 2.5 plus 0.25 n. Hold up, greater than 5.5. Not as a 2.5, you get 0.25 n. Greater than 3. Okay, now divide by 0.25 on both sides, you get n greater than 12. 3 divided by 0.25, but we don't have calculator. Okay, multiply by 100 up and down. Okay, you're gonna get 300 over 25. Can you divide 300 by 25? Yes, you can. Okay, 300. Okay, you're gonna get 1 here, 25, 5 down, 0 down, 2, you get 12. Wow. Okay, question, I think that's it here. Yeah, and 6, page 38. Page 38, question 6. Please be easy. Oh, these are easy. Okay, after performing the first step in the long division below, okay, what's the coefficient of x squared? This will probably come computer. They already gave you the first one. If I just multiply, they did, DMS, yeah. Multiply by 5x cubed, you're going to get 15x to the power of 4. Minus 5 times 5x cubed is minus 25x to the power of 3. Obviously, you subtract. So this minus this is 0. This minus this becomes 36 because minus minus, huh? X to the power of 3. Now divide 36 by 3 is you're going to get 12x squared. So what replaces the question mark? 12. Let me find it. 12. Okay. Question أشوف الدون بعد لو 12 page 39. What is the remainder when dividing? Okay, very easy. Okay, how do we find the remainder without actually having to divide? We just plug in the root. The root of x minus 2 is 2. So we just plug in 2. So 4 times 2 to the power of 4 plus 15. 2 to the power of 4 is 16. 4 times 16 plus 15. 4 times 6, 24. 64. No, 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 no. Is it? 4, 8. Wait. Yeah, 64 plus 15. And you get 79. It should be 79. What question is it? Yeah, 79. Question شو بدنا هلا 12 page 30 we did it 18 19 page 39 18 19 for what value is okay very easy for what value of m is x plus 2 a factor of p of x equal to x plus blah blah blah. Okay, if it's a factor, that means when you substitute the root is going to be equal to 0. So what's the root of x plus 2? It's minus 2, right? So if you substitute minus 2, it should equal to 0 since they said it's a factor. So let's try minus 2 to the power of 4. Remember, انتوا اصلا you don't have calculators. Minus 2 times minus 4 to the power of 2. Sorry, minus 2 to the power of 2. ليه حطيت minus 4? Minus 2 to the power of 2. Plus 3 m times minus 2 plus 64 equals 0. Okay, let's see here. Minus 2 to the power of 4 is the same as 2 to the power of 4 since it's an even exponent. You just make it positive. It's 16. Height is going to be minus 2 squared is 4. Minus 2 times 4 is minus 8. 3m times minus 2 is minus 6m. Okay, and then plus 64 equals 0. It should be minus 64. Is this correct? Yeah, okay. 16 minus 8 is 8. Okay, so 8 minus 6m plus 64 equals 0. Let me take this up. Okay, and then 8 plus 64 is 72 minus 6m equals 0. Take 6m to the other side, you get 72 equals 6m. Divide by 6, you're going to get m equals 12. Remember, no calculators. بدون هلا 19. 19. Okay, if one of the roots of this is a whole number, what is the value of this root? How do you find the roots? I think you're gonna get something like factor completely. If p is a polynomial such that p of x over x plus 4. Okay, find the product of all possible values of x to make the equation. What was this? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna solve question 19. Forget about 20, but I think they're gonna get something like this. Okay, I'll go back to it now. Uh, yeah, okay, I'll do 16 in a bit. But المهم, one of the roots. How do you determine possible roots? To determine all possible roots, you have to look at the factors of the last number divided by the factors of the leading term, right? So the factors of 2 are 1 and 2, and the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. Okay, so what will our possible roots be? Always factors of the final term divided by the factors of the leading term. So my factors, let's call them f, I guess. They are plus minus, always plus minus. Okay, uh, 1 over 1 is 1 over 3. We want whole numbers, right? So we're just going to skip 1 over 3. 2 over 1, okay, and then 2 over 3 we don't want it. Okay, so it's one of these. Okay, so it's either, so my factors are plus minus 1 and 2, right? Okay, how do I know if it's a factor, or how do I know if it's a root? It's a root. We determine if it's a root by substituting into the equation and seeing if it equals 0. If it equals 0, mabruk, you found your root. Okay, 3 times 1 to the power of 4 minus 2 times 1 to the power of 3 minus 4 times 1 to the power of 2 minus 7 times 1 minus 2. Does this equal 0? Sarah, it doesn't really look like it equals 0. You can try it out, but it doesn't. Okay, I'm just, so we don't waste time. We also have to try the same for the negative. So 3 times negative 1 to the power of 4 minus 2 times negative 1 to the power of 3 minus 4 times negative 1 to the power of 2 minus 7 times negative 1 minus 2. This, again, try it, doesn't equal 0. Okay, I think, yeah, it doesn't equal 0. Question, I know, 19. Yeah, it doesn't equal 0. Okay, and then 2, let's try 2 now. 3 times 2 to the power of 4 minus 2 times 2 to the power of 4. 3, sorry. Minus 4 times 2 to the power of 2. Minus 7 times 2 minus 2. Let's see. 3 times 2 to the power 4. 2 to the power 4 is 16. 3 times 16. 48. Okay, minus 2 times 2 to the power 3. 2 to the power 3 is 8. Minus 2 times 8 is minus 16. Minus 4 times 2 to the power 2. Minus 4 times 4, because 2 to the power 2 is 4. Minus 4 times 4 is minus 16. Minus 7 times 2 is minus 14. Minus 2. Let's see. 48 minus 16, 32. 32 minus 16 is 16. 16 minus 14 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So my factor is, or my root is 2. So x equals 2 is a root. هيك مكتوبة. Okay? This, if you write this in your written, that's nice. Okay? They didn't ask you to factor completely if x equals 2. That's all I need. هلا let me do question 16 quickly. Or 15. Which one looks a bit trickier? Let's just 16 is easier. I hope they bring something like 16 because it's easier when you're working with 1 as your coefficient. But since I'm here to teach you and not to give you easy questions, I'm going to do the harder one. Question 15. List all possible rational roots. How do we find all possible rational roots? Okay, we first have to look at the final term and the leading term. Okay, our final term is 3, and the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. Then 6 is my leading term, which is 1, 2, 3, and 6. So 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Okay, so my roots can be the leading term divided by, a final term dividing by leading term. Okay, if you call this R and you call this P, it will be factors of P divided by factors of R. المهم, factors of P, هن 1. Okay, let's start. 1 divided by 1 is 1. 1 divided by 2 is 1 over 2. 1 divided by 3 is 1 over 3. 1 divided by 6 is 1 over 6. Okay, continue. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 3 divided by 2 is 3 over 2. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and we already have it written here. 3 divided by 6 is 1 over 2, and we already have that written here, so خلاص, we're done here. Okay, these are all our possible roots. And if you put this, your paper is going to get spat on. Okay, they want plus, minus. Please remember, okay, plus, minus. So we did part A, factor u of x completely and determine all of its roots. Now you actually have to figure out which one's the root. How do we do that? We do trial and error. Okay, so I'm not here to do trial and error with you. We're just gonna take. What's the correct answer? What's the problem? The root is okay, 3. Oh, they used synthetic division. Okay, I guess that works. They tested each number. Okay, I mean, I guess that works. Okay, remember it's plus minus. In my opinion, the easiest thing to do first is to check the whole number. Okay, because the regional, I don't think the regional will give you one that starts off with one of the the fractions. Okay, the easiest way would be to check the whole number first. So let's check 3. 6 times 3 to the power of 3. Okay, plus 17 times 3 to the power of 2. Okay, minus 4 times 3 minus 3. Okay, let's see. 6 times 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 3 is 27. 27 times 6, 20 times 6, 127 times 6, 42. 162 plus 17 times 9, because 3 squared is 9. 17 times 9 is 117. Oh no, 10 times 7 times 63. 10 times 9, 90. 153. Okay. Wait. I did something wrong. Okay, minus 4 times 3, which is minus 12. Okay, and I'm 100% I did something wrong. Okay, I don't think 3 is a root. They tried minus 3. Okay, yeah. Okay, if positive 3 doesn't work, sorry, am I still recording? Yeah. If positive 3 doesn't work, then always try negative, right? Because remember, it's plus minus for a reason. Okay, so let's try 6 times minus 3 to the power of 3. This doesn't equal 0. Okay, I'm not gonna waste my time. 6 times minus 3 to the power of 3. Okay, plus 17 times minus 3 to the power of 2. Minus 4 times minus 3 minus 3. Okay, 6 times minus 3 to the power of 3 is going to be the same thing, negative 162. Okay, 17 times minus, it's going to be positive 153 because it's squared, so it's positive. Plus 12 minus 3. Okay, minus 162 plus 153 is going to be 9, I think. Negative 9. Negative 9 plus 12 is 3, and then minus 3 equals 0. So 3 is my root. Okay, but did they just say find the root? No, they said factor it completely. Okay, what do we do after we found out the root? Okay, if I know now that x equals minus 3 is my root, is the root. Okay, so how do I continue factoring? To factor now, you just divide by minus 3. Okay, you divide by your root. Okay, let's continue. Minus 3, 6x cubed, 17 minus 4 minus 3. Let's solve it. 6 down, 6 times minus 3 minus 18. Okay, هيدي بتصير negative 1, negative 1, 3, هيدي negative 4, negative 1. هيدي بتصير 3. Obviously, you're going to get 0 as a remainder because we know it's a root. That means it's going to be 0 remainder. So what do I have? What am I left with now? 6x squared minus x minus 1. That's what I'm left with. So this can be rewritten as 6x squared minus x minus 1. And since x minus 3 is the root, how do I write it? I write it as x plus 3, right? Please don't write x minus 3, because if you wrote it as x minus 3, that means the root would be positive 3. But since my root is negative 3, I write it as x plus 3. So I wrote it like this. Okay, they said factor it. Is this factored completely? No, it's not. I can further factor the 6x squared thing, right? 6 times 1 is 6. Which numbers, when you multiply them, you get 6. When you subtract them, you get 1. Obviously, 3 and 2. So 6x and 3, 6x and 2, x plus 3. What are my signs? Negative, so one is negative, one is positive. The middle term, middle sign goes to the bigger term, negative and positive. Divide by 3, you're going to get 2x minus 1. Divide by 2, you're going to get 3x plus 1. Here, this is already simplest form. So, did I factor it completely? Yes. But did they say just factor completely? It said determine all of its roots. So, what are all my roots? My roots will be 2x minus 1 equals 0, which is x equals half. That's my first root. 3x plus 1 equals 0. So, x equals minus 1 over 3. X plus 3 equals 0, and we get x equals minus 3, which we already found in the part A. So this is a possible written, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Good luck.